It's been a long week in my tweets.
Wait, I have another question. Is everyone here for the day?
Yeah, who's here for the day? Who's not here for the day? Who's leaving at 1 o'clock? Whose kid missed the bus? Whose kid had a seizure? My girl ain't here. Is everybody good?
Melyssa Ford remains missing from the Joe Budden Podcast, and he made an allusion to it, which I played the clip earlier in this video, but there's also fans wondering where Melyssa Ford might be. Now, Melyssa Ford disappeared from the show a few weeks ago, and I think what may be happening here is that something went down, and the two are trying to figure out how to deal with rolling out with whatever may have happened. Now, one scenario is that Melyssa Ford is going through some type of work-life imbalance that may have led to a mental need for a break. That is completely possible because Melyssa Ford is not on Instagram posting. And I want to tell everybody who keeps saying she had some movie planned, prior to her disappearance from the show, there was no indication that some type of movie was happening, nor is she posting on Instagram about recording for a movie. Anytime somebody disappears from the show, there's like this contrarian counter effect where people are like, everything's fine, everything's normal. Well, I think at the very least, we can agree that everything fine and everything normal is not a possibility right now. The other possible conclusion is that she was let go from the show and that Joe got tired of her misgivings as a podcast creator and decided to boot her. Remember, Melyssa Ford was a tough part for the show in terms of carrying conversations. She didn't really help the dialogue too much, but I don't know if that has happened. We will have to remain vigilant in trying to glean insights. We did notice that Joe said that a new woman co-host was coming up there in September, and it is fourth quarter, so you would imagine they would have to integrate this person soon, as Melyssa Ford's value is being shown to some extent, but it's kind of divisive with some of the fan base saying that they want Melyssa Ford and some of the fan base saying that they don't want Melyssa Ford, and some of the fan base saying that they don't really care if Melyssa Ford's there either way. We also have to remember that all of the other things that are going on, there was the revelation of Mark Lamont Hill and Melyssa Ford dating.
She used to date Mark Lamont Hill. Did you know that? Melissa and him used to date.
Really?
Yeah.
She does. She owns
Anyway,
up to
let
it.
me stop telling
Yeah,
her
we
this,
did.
'cause
I mean, I
he's
adore.
a great guy.
I adore Mark.
Now, I truly believe everybody on the cast knows, as I did know myself. There was people in the comments saying that Melyssa Ford and Mark Lamont Hill dated, and I think that is kind of a, like a smoke and mirrors, because I don't think that's really a big issue for the cast. Everybody up there probably knows about the situation. Mark has remained coy about it. But if you look at how Joe Budden and Ian are dealing with it, both would kind of elaborate on it on Spaces. In this clip right here, you see Joe Budden talk about Melyssa Ford to a fan, or maybe try to hide what's going on.
The empty seats. Are we doing alternative co-hosts going forward? Or are we still with the same brick that we have foundation with? Or are we going to start bringing in some more people?
Who are you talking to?
You.
It can't be us.
Joe Budden, Joe and Ian. Are we going to start filling these seats up? Because it was empty seats the last couple of weeks. I want to see if we can bring somebody else into the show to fill these seats. It's summertime. I know it's fall. Everybody's missing out. Is anybody coming in to fill up these seats?
You think you about to trick us into a Mel answer? Are you asking about Mel?
That was crazy. I fuck with that.
Yeah,
Though.
all them fucking words. No, he did a good
Right out
job.
answer.
He did a good job trying to piece it together. The empty seats, do you plan on rotating it? I feel him.
Then in this clip right here, you see Ian Schwartzman. It seemed like he was about to reveal what was going on with Melyssa Ford for real, but Joe Budden would step in and stop that from happening.
No, because I'm seriously considering giving you guys what you want to hear, and then I'm just replaying in my head. Will it actually suffice, or will
No,
it
You'll
just
never know.
they've gotten 20 million new
It's never
narratives
enough.
over the
It's
course
never
of 3
Hey,
years.
guys.
So as you can see, all parties seem to know, like if I had to give my guess, it wasn't an outright firing, but it was some type of conversation. And I think the conversation could be, things are going to change, and moving forward, you will have to operate on this show differently. and the conversation may have went left. Now, there's also the last most diabolical scenario where a lawsuit might be coming, and that lawsuit was, the speculation was broken by Dub, who said that there is somebody that contacted the Files with Dub YouTube channel and told them that Melyssa Ford is plotting to do some type of lawsuit because she was suspended, and the suspension wasn't done under the principles of proper human resource practice. So what Dub is saying is that Melyssa Ford was suspended and told to stay home or something like that. But the way that Melyssa Ford's suspension was handled wasn't in line in the same way that Queen's Flip's suspension was handled. So if you remember back when Queen's Flip was suspended, he was paid. They said that on the podcast, and I believe that is what occurred because that's what Queen's Flip said, and it didn't seem like COE to me. Is it possible that Melyssa Ford was suspended without pay? I don't know. I think if they dealt with Melyssa Ford's suspension in a way that wasn't congruent with the Queen's Flip suspension, that could be a nail in the coffin for some type of litigation. Now, as to how Melyssa Ford returns, it's going to be awkward as hell because there's another scenario out there where people are saying that there is still Flip Melyssa Ford tension and that the two haven't been seeing eye to eye, with folks saying that Queen's Flip is being told to chill out and not treat Melyssa Ford a certain way. So that's why he's been dejected on the pod. Basically, they robbed him of his energy where he can't even really comment on her. And as a result, there's this theory that Melyssa Ford, if she does return, she doesn't necessarily want Queen's Flip around. So there's a whole bunch of scenarios, and we got to do the science. I know a lot of you are going to be like, Danny, I want to know exactly what happened. Even though we've been able to predict things in the past, this is still largely a speculation channel. But at the very least, we can agree upon a baseline of something went wrong the last time she taped at the Joe Budden Podcast.
Do you like to say?
I'm not saying anything. I don't know your life.
Is there something that I don't know?
You said there was a point.
There was a point.
There was a point where,
Can you put this down and say it?
yeah, there was a time where there was a little bit too much self-medication, but now I don't.
Liquor.
Was that a long time ago?
Yeah.
This whole room is in denial.
Can I just correct one little part of that? You didn't see Mel walk off any show.
My bad.
The last time y'all saw Mel, she did not get up irate, mad, and walk off. That didn't happen. Y'all are just nosy.
Yeah, but Mark did allude to I forgot how he framed it, but he said it was a blow up. Yeah. And then she was off the next cut.
No, I didn't. No,
Mark, all they do is lie.
No, you did, Mark. You said you saw on the balcony it was World War II.
That was a violation, yo.
Mark, don't fall for it.
No, you're lying to us.
Nah, I'm serious.
We don't lie.
Yeah, there was a statement like that made where something about World War III. I'm not a stenographer where you won't be able to catch me, remember every single word y'all said, but that is what happened where somebody said it was World War III on the balcony, and then
Mark said it.
On later episodes, people reflect about the addiction issue.
Soon as they start bringing up their boundaries.
Or addictions, or what else was it?
It's a list, right?
Something about that Patreon. Yo, what y'all addicted to?
Who said? Who?
You.
We all set boundaries. Nope. No, we're not going that boundaries pathway. It don't lead nowhere to be here till 10 o'clock. I can't take this anymore. I'm leaving. I'm out.
Come on, yo.
That's another fan-made theory. I'm not saying Amani didn't say that because who knows what Amani said, but that's another one that comes from the fans of the addiction question sent her to the moon.
Well, why hasn't
right. Nobody was mad about the addiction conversation.
Nobody at all. Not one person.
Front of that was me. Right.
So she
right.
So what led to her not coming back?
Why hasn't she been back since that conversation?
Now, Joe on Spaces has hinted that the theory of her walking off because of the addiction conversation isn't necessarily true. But could it be that something else happened? Because Mark Lamont when he was on the podcast, said that World War III occurred on the balcony. So somebody's lying. Somebody is not telling the truth. There's a lot of competing narratives. And if it wasn't the addiction conversation that set things off, could it have been some type of disagreement between Flip and Melyssa Ford? Could have been Melyssa Ford and Imani for even broaching that subject. Something happened on her last taping. And if you look at the amount of episodes she's missed, this might be the longest suspension we've seen for a member of the Joe Budden Podcast since the Queen's Flip suspension in the summer of 2024. The summer always brings bummer. But we also got to look at the fact that she can't come back and it's going to be normal. It's going to be odd as hell. She's a fish out of water, but that fish needs the money. And while Hot and Bothered seems to be doing well, it's never going to generate the money or the exposure that the Joe Budden Podcast will. That is, unless Melyssa Ford leans into the Vixen narrative, and then she might actually be able to replace or at least approximate the check she gets from the Joe Budden Podcast. All right, y'all, let me know what you think about this whole thing. This is yet another Saturday pod. She's missed, all right, she missed the back half of that Patreon. Then she missed the episode that was recorded the following Tuesday, which was the Wednesday pod. Then she missed another Saturday pod. And then she missed the Tuesday pod after that, where they record on Tuesdays. And then another Saturday pod. So that's 8 episodes of content that was not done. That is a lot. Was Melyssa Ford paid? I assume she was. Remember, the two have not begun trashing each other, but I do find Melyssa Ford's social media absence to be interesting. Could it be a social media cleanse where she decided, all right, I got to get off social media. A lot of things are bothering me right now. And she still has Joe Budden co-host in her Instagram bio. There is rumors that she removed it at some point, but then she added it back. I cannot verify it, but if she did, that is very telling. And that might reveal that she is maybe on the outs of the show or wavering about coming back. All right, y'all, let me know what you think in the comments. Let's do the science. At some point, we'll get a logical conclusion. But this feels kind of like Rory and Mal and Joe to me, where both sides agree to stay silent to see how the other one plays it, and then maybe the person will never come back, or if they do come back, it will be short-lived and over. Follow me on Instagram, The Stop TV. Follow me on Patreon, The Stop TV. This is Danny from The Stop. Peace.